Hello, 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 hello. I've still got my pad in front of me. Let me move that. How is everybody this evening? Always takes a second for comments to load up, but I can already see we have a couple of people on, so welcome. I am here for the next hour doing some readings with my Elizical deck, so welcome. Hello, Magnet to Love. How are you? Excuse me 1 second. Pardon me, I've got a tickle in my throat. All right. So the drill, guys, please follow my page before you ask for a reading. And my dog's just scratched his way into the door. Hello, puppy. Please follow my page before you ask for a reading, but please feel free to ask a question for a reading. I am well, Magnet. Thank you very much for asking. And other than that, please feel free to comment more than once. I do catch up with the comments once they get rolling. So if you have seen that I have skipped over you, then please feel free to comment again. Please don't smash the page with... And yes, we are going to play some games tonight. So I have got 4 numbers. 4. I believe I've got 4 numbers written down. And so whoever guesses those numbers correctly will win. Oh, geez. So organized. Sorry, guys. I had to stretch. We'll win a spin on the wheel. Woo-hoo. And we also have the guessing game competition as well. So that would be fun. Hi, Leanne. Have a great evening. Cannot stay as I have to need to make dinner. Oh, well, thank you for saying hello. I appreciate it. All right. So still waiting for the comments to load up. Hello, Melissa. How are you? Looking forward to the games. Yeah, me too. They're fun. Hey, Ree. How you going? Just while everyone's jumping in and all those kind of little bits and pieces, I will say, so 1, doing my readings with my Elizical deck, and that's awesome. But 2, so I've got the online reading day on the 22nd of February. I've still got, I think, 4 spots left on that one. So $75 for a 30-minute reading via Zoom. So that's a $25 discount, and you get to do it on Zoom. That is on Sunday, the 22nd of February. You need to text my mobile for that. You know what? I think I'm even a little bit more organized than what I think I am. No, I'm not. Thought I had a banner. I don't. But yeah, send me a text message on my mobile, which is 0400819033, but is written everywhere anyway. And so if you send me over a text message, I can book you in a spot for that. And speaking of the energy that's there, good evening. Bathurst is also got a couple of spots available. I believe I've got 1 spot left for Friday and a couple for Saturday as well. So again, reach out to me on my mobile for those. Those ones are 45-minute readings on that day. Hi, Linda, aka Mum. Linda Ann Milne is my mum, for everybody that wants to know and doesn't know. And she's a psychic medium too. She does readings too. You'll very often find us at fairs together. Hi, Chris. Hey, Mac Tom. Hey, Michelle. So again, guys, just the usual. If you want to have a reading, just ask a question. Please follow my page before you do. And yes, we have some games again this evening as well. And we've also got, just while everyone's jumping on, because it's getting close to getting drawn again already, with these little pocket things here. Collected these for a couple of years. You'd be surprised how many I have. But anyway, $5. So you can purchase one through PayID, which you can use my mobile for. Otherwise, you can use the link. It's on my Facebook page, and I'll pop it up again later. But actually, I think I do have a banner for this one. Yep. And so $5 per entry. Once we hit 20 entries, I pull that out. And so, yeah, I had today's winner here, which was Belinda Frank. And so congratulations to her. If I sell more than 20, it just rolls over to the next one. So it's just I believe I'm up to 6 already for the next one. So, yeah, that will be drawn when it hits 20. But that's just a little side thing that I thought I would tell you about. All right, let's get reading. Let's get reading. You know what? I haven't been to Perth like ever in my whole life. So it's definitely on my list, but I don't have a... Oh, yeah, I'm coming to Bechtilly. Bechtilly, if you're drawn to me, I would love a card, please. Absolutely. All right, let's have a look. Back. That's funny. I'm back, and I'm hearing back. I want to say to you, just be mindful of that. I feel like you tend to not bend at the knees. Just be mindful, especially across your shoulders. Sweet. Yeah, cool. All right. When I sit with your energy, I giggle, okay? Because your first card's out, self-care. All right. And the self-care card talks about, truth, honor, and awareness, but self-care. So just be mindful of that. Again, it just feels like, walking around again for the week for the sore back. But anyway, I'll leave that there with you. What I want to come to you about, you've got the prosperity card there and you've got the completions card. Okay, now I've got 2 Tree of Lives in my card deck, and this one is about financial growth, security, and abundance. The completions card, it talks about one door closes and another one opens. Now there is a strong financial energy around with this, and I almost want to say to you, if you've been waiting to sell that house, it's going to sell. If you've been waiting for something to what's that word when it ripens? I don't know. You can see I'm a big financial person. It's not ripens. Anyway, I'm not going to waste time trying to find that word while you giggle. But it's got that energy that sits there with it. All right. Now I do feel like I need to come forward sometime, but I do want to say to you, I feel a significant financial reprieve. For those of you that are reading with me, you'll know that I don't take throwing around money things quite gently, and so I offer that to you definitely with a really genuine energy. There's just a nice sense of reprieve that comes into play, okay? And so through the financial matters that's there, I want to say to you, just let the energy move forward. It just sort of needs to happen. Let that come into play and things will fall into place, all right? So I'll leave that there with you and hope that that helps. Thank you for joining me this evening. All right. Let's catch up a little bit. Sorry, I went to say your first name, your surname together. I went Michelle Zanino. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you? Just wondering if you can pick a card for me or 2 about work whenever you can pick up for me, or whatever you can pick up for me, please. Yep, sure. I will say that just flew out the deck. All right, let's have a look. Yes. Make that choice. Yes. All right. Michelle. Yeah, nice. When I sit with your energy, that's there, okay? You've got that yeses, so just sort of the second I went and started picking up the cards. You got the change of luck, all right? Energy shifting for the better. You've got the healing card there. It talks about being patient, but allowing the healing to come in. Now, I feel like this is finally just kind of accepting I need to move on, let it go, and it may well be just a heartache. Like, I've worked with this for so long, I'm going to miss you, and you're really excited about moving forward. But this energy is definitely that, okay? And so when I sit with that, you can see I've got a smile on my face. But being patient, allowing the healing in. And I just want to add on to the top of that as well. Sometimes we look back and it's like this experience happened, or these experiences happened because of this person, and I'll hold this resentment because of that, and but just kind of bring yourself to what purpose it serves. Let yourself feel it for the moment. Have a little hissy fit, so to speak. And it's not a hissy fit, I don't mean it that way, but let yourself feel that energy, but allow yourself to then jump on. You got your worry and the doubt card that's there, and all that card talks about is just putting everything in its place. All right, don't let things overwhelm you, and just put things in their place and take it step by step by step by step. Like, for example, I need to go and buy a new house. All right, fine. The first thing that we're going to do is work out how much money we can spend. Then we're going to put this into order. Then we're going to work out where we want to live. We're not like, oh my God, how much money have I got and where am I going to go? And what house is it? We don't do it all at once. You know what I mean? So I just want to leave that there with you. I just want to check in. It's time, it, and you feel it, okay? And so again, like that yes even was just like, yes, make the decision. See, make the commitment to move forward. Just take that moment to rest and recuperate. You've got this. Trust your intuition. All right, you've got this. I'll leave that with you. Thank you very much for reading with me. All right, I'm going to do 2 more readings, and then we're going to do our first game. Catching up with the comments. So again, guys, please feel free to comment more than once. Chris Waugh, if you feel drawn to me, would love a card, please. You know what, Chris, as I step into your energy, I've got to say, gee, I feel like I can just take a breath. I was looking at the flowers that's there, and my mind went straight to my flowers and things like that. But it was nice because then I kind of just got this vision of you just almost like standing next to you and just being in your energy. It's just like just take a breath, and if you're not feeling that way, though I suspect you are, I want to say to you, just remember that, just you center yourself really, really well. For whatever wanting reason, I'm being reminded of that. Nice. So when I sit with your cards, you've got the self-trust card that's there, okay? And I kind of giggle because, as I said, you center yourself right well, and look where that big bright light is. But self-trust and self-belief is where it all begins. And as I sit into that energy, I almost feel like I'm embarking on a new adventure, and I don't want to be too ambitious with that. But it just feels like it's like, you know what, I've got an intention. I've got an intention to get tasks done. And that's the thing around it as well. You've got a very strong manifesting energy. So whatever you say generally goes. If you believe you can, you do. If you believe you can't, you don't. And just keep that in mind, because you've got the transformation card there. And, the transformation card's not about, transformation. It's about like blossoming into true self. And that's what it is. If you look at the flowers that just grow patiently there, oh, like a dragon fruit flower, and we just sit and we wait patiently. And that's the thing around it. Given, the right food, the right water, those kind of little bits and pieces, magic happens. And I feel like it really is just about kind of reminding you with that, and just, if I'm a cake, I've just lit a candle on it for you. If I'll put a cherry on top of it, I see it as a firework up your ass. That's why I'm struggling to find a good example, because that's what I want to say. But yeah, it's just like lighting a little spark in that fire that's already burning so bright. All right, so I'll leave that there with you, Chris, and I hope that it helps. All right, one more reading and we'll do a game. Where can I buy your cards? You can't. And it's funny, like when I made these cards, I made them with the intention of publishing and, those kind of little bits and pieces. Probably about 5 or 6 years ago now that I've made these cards. There was one time where they got a little bit wet and there's still damage on them from that. But, I made the choice not to replace them. Anyway, I digress. There's only one other deck that exists, and my friend has it. And, yeah, I don't know. That's just my deck. It's my deck. I should publish it. Anyway, I digress. Let me grab a comment and then we'll do a game. Donna. While I'm here, I scrolled down, scrolled back up and found you again, so you're meant to be. All right, Donna, would love a card. You know what? My mind scatters. As cheeky and as playful or whatever else as it is, I want to say to you, you know what? You need to get off your ass, girl. And I want to say it to you like that. And it's this energy that's in and around you. You've got this, you know what you feel like? You feel like you've got this, I know you're going to kind of go, what? But this flexibility around you and this fluidity, like a flow of energy that's kind of in your body. And I feel like when you stand still for too long, or you let yourself get too frustrated and too focused on something like that, it's like that. We hold ourselves strong. We start to see, it's also, I see the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz, it's that kind of energy that's there. And so that's where I say to you, like, move, even if you're frustrated and you're feeling like this, make sure you're walking each day, because, yeah, you're a little bit like the Tin Man. Let me pull you a couple of cards. All right. Nice. All right. So when I sit with your cards, you've got the growth card. It talks about opportunity, self-awareness, potential, and all of those other beautiful things. Okay. And so when I sit with this energy that's there, I chose the tree of life for a reason. Like, for me personally, you take this tiny little seed and my dog sounds like his hip seized. Jasper. No. Jabs. Sorry, guys. Hang on. You all right, buddy? Okay. Due to hip. Anyway, all right. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Donna. yeah, like sitting with that energy that's there, as I said, like this tiny little seed, and it blossoms up into this big, huge, amazing tree, and this huge, huge, amazing thing. Amazing, my words are all getting mixed up. I feel like I want to bring it back and remind you of that, okay? When I sit with this card, you've got the take a chance card, all right? And it talks about like nothing changes if nothing changes. And I always get that song, but it's that be playful, be spontaneous. Why not? You know, if you always wanted to learn how to do a painting, go take that art class. If you always wanted to learn how to walk on a tightrope, go walk on, you know what I mean? And see, I'm choosing sort of funny, playful, silly little things that are there. So it's like bringing you back to home base, like that grounding energy, okay? And by sitting within that grounding energy, you get to sort of just find a place of resolution and a kind of place of peace within yourself, okay? And so I'm going to leave that there with you, because I feel like when I sit with you, it is also just sort of like that gentle reminder. It's like there's been things that have been happening around you enough to almost convince you otherwise, okay? And so just by bringing it back to just letting that stuff sort of sit to the side for a second, not letting it consume yourself, and just by okay, where am I in all of this, and just allowing yourself to sort of take a little bit of an advantage of that, you find all of this becomes fluid again instead of jagged. All right, so I hope that helps. I clicked my mouse button on top of hide the comments, so you disappeared on me. All right, I'm going to play a game. Let's do a guessing game. I have 4 items this evening. I have them written down, but I have them in front of me right now. So these 4 items, or each 4 of them made of different materials. We're going to do one at a time. So I've got them in order here. So I'm going to put these ones up to the side. And we're going to do this one first. All right. In my hand is an item. I'd like to know what it is. We'll see what we can do here. So you can tell me what it is, and the word, I don't know, metal, for example, doesn't count. The word crystal, for example, doesn't count, because there's like a million of those things. And so it's in my hand. I'm just going to leave it here in front of me. What did I just say, Shayla? What did I just say, Donna? You can't just say crystal, okay? It's like, really, that's like saying earth. All right. No, you've got to be a little bit more specific than that. Yes, Jasper is okay. Thank you very much, Kathy, for asking, and I will pull some cards for you while we're looking for guesses. He gets a, like, when you get a cramp in the back of your calf and it hurts like a mofo. He seems to get that at the side, and his leg goes quite tight, but his leg was soft as I pulled him up, so I couldn't see him. It just does that noise when it seizes, but I think he must have, I don't know, hurt himself somewhere along the way. All right. Kathy, I'm going to focus on you, and then I'm going to read back up to the comments. All right. Kathy. If he comes back in, I'll pick him up and you can meet him. All right. Kathy. Yeah, nice. When I sit with your cards, okay, you've got this energy about you. You've got the frustration card, you've got the letting go card, and you've got the self-trust card that's there, okay? And so when I sit with these energies that's there, that frustration, that letting go of things, it's got this sense around it of almost like that David and Goliath type of thing, you know what I mean? Getting quite frustrated at the medical industry, for example, and just using an example that's there. I can be as frustrated as I want to be, but it's not going to change the bigger picture of it. All I can do is the best that I can in that moment for myself. And I feel like that perspective almost needs to be brought back on, because, we can almost overwhelm ourselves with frustrations and even sadnesses and things like that, with things that we don't have any control over. And so there's just want to kind of give that to you as a sense of energy, okay? You've got the self-trust card that's there. Self-trust and self-belief is where it all begins. And when I sit with this card with you, I actually get reminded and tell you that you can go on a holiday by yourself. And so, if I think about that and what that sort of statement means, it's encouraging you to, just remind you that you've got balls and you've got a sense of courage in and around with you. And you know what? I've reflected recently, and I was even kind of just thinking about it today, like climbing up on the van and putting the rooftop tent up and all of those kind of little bits and pieces. You've got to be really mindful, I notice, as you get older, not to let yourself fall into a place of I can't. You know what I mean? Because I guess, through wisdom, we become more cautious. And then through that cautiousness, we become almost, a little bit more afraid. And there's a big difference between being cautious and afraid. And so I challenge you to see where that line is for you at the moment. And with that, I find, comes a challenge, but also a sense of triumph that's on the other side of it. And I think that it's important for you just to come back to that base and just for a general sense, for the next 6 months, for the next 12 months, let's remind ourselves exactly who we are and what we're capable of, because we don't want to retreat too far back. All right. And so I'll leave that there with you, and I hope that it helps. All right. Let's check what's happening up here with the comments. I'll read them out. If I just read them and keep going, it's not that. All right. Coin, gum, rose quartz, cotton, amethyst, paperclip, leaf, feather, black tourmaline, eraser, paperclip, feng shui, coins, shell, pencil sharpener, silver hanger, candle, ring, rock, amethyst. Not yet. All right, let me grab up to. I will say that somebody has guessed one of the other items in that list. All right, so we're going to catch up to the comments, guys. If I have missed you asking for a reading, please feel free to comment once again. I will jump here, though. If I chill with colleague D, will she try to get intimate? I don't think she's going to try to get intimate. What I get up straight away, though, is that you have to just be mindful. She's got a little bit of a mouth as far as it speaks. And I want to be really kind of careful the way that I do portray that, because I do want to stay respectful to her, because I feel like she does deserve that. I wouldn't say she's the kind of person that says, that if she stepped up one stair, she'll tell people she jumped 5. But I will say that she might say 2. Does that make sense? And so when I see, just to have clear boundaries and those kind of little bits and pieces, I think what you're actually picking up with her is more, and who's to even say, you know what I mean? But anyway, what I want to say is that there's a sense of loneliness kind of in and around with her, and a healthy loneliness, okay? It's not like, oh my God, I'm so desperate. But I think you're going to actually find that there's just an eagerness and a keenness that's there, and maybe a little bit of social awkwardness, with clear boundaries and bits and pieces that come into play. And said the right way, I'm kind of reminded to tell you that, then you'll find that this can actually be quite a nice bros kind of relationship that's there. So yeah, I'll pull a couple of cards with you just to see what pops out. I'm just curious. Yeah, nice. So you've got the yes card, which is an emphasizer. So let's see. So you've got the sunset card and you've got the growth card that's there. So you get a yes out. Okay, so that's what you need to emphasize and concern yourself on. And that was the answer of no. So as I said to you, I do feel like you're safe here. The sunset card that's there. Okay, that energy, as I said, will get put behind. Just allow the opportunity. And yeah, always, is an opportunity for growth. I don't need to jump too much into that. I stand by what I've said that's there. So I hope that you can find some energy in that. And just, I think, as I said, just clear boundaries and those kind of little bits and pieces. And yeah, this feels to be a few good laughs. I hope that helps. All right. Shell, pencil sharpener, silver hanger, candle, ring, rock, paperclip. I will jump back up to you in a second, magnet. Amethyst, rubber. All right, let me jump back up to magnet. Why is my neighbor nude? Noad, nude. I'm not sure if I'm just grabbing that wrong. But anyway, we'll call him a pain down. Why is my neighbor nude and her mum always interrogating me about my private life and my looks? It's very draining and I don't know what to do. Please and thank you. It's funny. My head goes straight to Mrs. Mangle, and I'm probably, I don't know how many of you will remember Mrs. Mangle. It was a bit of an Aussie saying there for a while. And so when I sit with this energy, Mrs. Mangle, didn't have boundaries, always stick her head out of the thing. I feel like you really struggle to have those strong boundaries with this person as far as it sits. I think honestly, it is just going to have to come down to you kind of saying, look, this is where it's at. You can keep dropping hints, dropping hints, dropping hints if you don't want to necessarily create an abruptness that's there within the situation, but just simply even bringing it to a point and then going, you know what, and for the rest, I'm not comfortable, or, I don't kiss and tell, or just whatever energy sort of starts to create that line where she's intruding too far, as far as it looks like this, move, this person's energy does feel impossible. I've got to say, but again, it feels like you're really struggling because you don't want to be disrespectful, you don't want to be rude to her, but shift your language, change your language, and just, okay, well, I've got to go now, and not to be afraid of hurting feelings, because you're going to find that several other people have worked this out with her. All right. You need to be one of those people to give it a couple of months and it'll shift, but you've got to stay consistent with her and just, look, you could sit back and think of a few witty, if not almost smart ass comments just to, I don't know, pat yourself on the back, but I don't think it's really necessary as far as it sits. I feel sorry for you. It's a big energy, I've got to say. I've definitely got to say. But yeah, strong boundaries and just keep pulling back, pulling back, pulling back. A couple of months, she will get the hint, but you've got to stay consistent. Otherwise, it'll just creep back in, all right? Rubber amethyst. Kathy Bradshaw, hello, please pick me. All right, guys. So we're just doing, Kathy, give me 2 seconds. We're just doing the guessing competition. It's in my hand. You can see it clearly fits into my hand. I can close my fist. I can Nobody has guessed what it is made of or what it is yet. Read back through the comments if you want some hints, because none of them, or up to this comment anyway, none of them are it. All right, let's have a look. Kathy. Yeah. Nice. All right. When I sit with your cards, you've got the uncertainty card that's there, okay, but then you've got the completion card that follows with it. And the energy was quite strong around the completions card of information closure, that goes kind of little bits and pieces, because whilst the completion card can be quite quick as far as it sits, I don't actually feel like this is a devastating energy. I feel like it's an energy that actually takes away the angst, takes away the worry and the concern and those kind of things, okay? And so when I sit with that, I want to sit that with you, because when I sit with the intentions card with you, I actually hear the word opportunity. And it's funny, you can feel my energies wanting to race forward. It's like, ooh, and so with that, I'll remind you to take a breath. But the intention, as I said, I saw intention, my head read opportunity, and that's where I feel with it. And so I just sort of wanted to see where that energy wanted to go. And you got the take a chance card, just reminding you that nothing changes if nothing changes. So, sometimes things get taken from us, things shift and change, and we may not have necessarily asked for them, but with that, a clear slate almost gets created that's filled with a new opportunity. And it's time, you've got security around you. And I want to say everything is sitting quite balanced around you. And so, for example, I don't know, you've always been a nurse the whole time and you want to go be a midwife. Now is the perfect opportunity. And I use those two examples specifically because, as a nurse, you've got a kind of foundation that allows you to step up into that. And that's what I feel is here. Yeah, there's a little bit of moment of study and sacrifice and everything else that sits there with it. But I'm still seeing finances come in, and I'm still seeing you having that ability to move in. So again, not using that, saying that example is exactly you, but that's the type of example I want to give to fit the context of the energy that's there. So now is the time. Take a chance. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And I feel like you even know that the choices within that aren't necessarily all easy, but they certainly are satisfying once you get to the end, okay? So I hope that helps, and I'll leave that there with you. All right, guys, let's get a number guessing game going as well. So whoever guesses the correct number gets a spin on the wheel. Whoever guesses the item wins a free 1-question email reading. I'm just double checking because they always write the numbers down. All right. So we're going to guess the first number as well. It is between 0 and 100. So the first person to guess that number correctly wins a spin on the wheel. Hey, Jenny. Yeah, I'm going to be pretty regular from now on. She said, nice to see my face again so soon. I've got to click your mouse. I'm sure he's going to hear that. It's pissing us off. paper. First time here. Hey, Danielle. So we are playing a guessing game at the moment, and whoever guesses this item that is in my hand to the closest correctness will win a free 1-question email reading that is valid for you to use over the next 3 months. And so just throw up your guesses up onto the page, and whoever guesses it first wins. Also doing a number guessing game between 0 and 100, and so feel free to guess up the number, and whoever guesses that number correctly will win a spin on the wheel. All right, going to catch up with the comments. Lipstick, earrings. I will jump back up a little bit. Necklace, rose quartz heart, USB, feather, flower, pyrite, keyring in hand, rubber, coin, timber, fragrance, for petrified wood, candle, flower, 4-leaf clover, note, banknote. All right, I'll start the numbers in a second. Not any of those. I'm going to just jump up a couple of comments and then I'll catch up back down. Joe McKenzie. All right, Joe, I would love a reading. Joe. You know what, Joe? You've got an intuitive energy, and I giggled because when I was sitting there with you, and I'm just, what card do I want? What card do I want? And looking at your energy, I was in a really nice way sitting there, and I was like, bubble and bubble. Bubble, does it bubble and toil and all things trouble? You know, that Bruin spell, I can't even remember it now. It was rolling off my tongue a few seconds ago in my head. And, then I pulled the intention card because it was like spell cast into, anyways, you get what I mean. And so I had to have a little bit of a giggle there. You got the freedom card, okay, which talks about self-love, release, and determination. And to absolutely no surprise, you've got the spirit card. Spirit card is, our loved ones pass away are always around us. But the thing around it is, they absolutely truly are. And I do believe that you feel that at the moment. And so, I want to say to you, just be really mindful where you are throwing your intentions right now. And I don't say that you're throwing them anywhere negative, but you've got a really, really strong manifestation energy that's there. You're in a time in your life where there's like lessons and those kind of bits and pieces, and you've got an opportunity to put the things that you have learned into play or to repeat. And so just be really mindful, especially if you've got a sense of frustration around you at the moment. You keep kind of knocking into the same shut doors, the same kind of energies pissing you off, that kind of stuff. Pay attention to it, okay, and ask yourself where you belong into that energy very nicely and always with respect within that. But just, I feel like once you kind of unlock the key to that sense of freedom comes in. And again, you've got such a strong intuitive energy that's there. I'm sure you are feeling the support and guidance of spirit at the moment. Allow yourself to be trusted by that and guided by that, okay? So I'm going to leave that there with you, and I hope that helps. All right, 4-leaf clover note. Looking through the numbers quickly. Haven't grabbed it yet. If you can hear me clicking, sorry, I'll try to stop that. But the mouse broke on my computer, so I'm on this one. At least you're not listening to me read them all out. Gee, Willikers, there's heaps. Oh, that's better. I can scroll the freaking mice. How many of you are just screaming that out at me? Because I just don't. I will catch back up to the comments in a second. Okay, hey, Donna Heller, we're playing guessing games. So I have an item in my hand at the moment, and that is, I'll grab you in a second, Joe. That is in my hand. We're guessing what that item is. We also are doing a number guess between 1 and 100. Between 1 and 100. Between 0 and 100. But yeah, 1 and 100 is the same thing, I suppose. So I was just having a little bit of a scroll down to see if anyone's guessed the number. No, not yet. Jesus, it's got to be close because there's like 100 guesses. Oh, someone's right next to it. All right, I'm just going to cab a couple of readings and then I'll come down and check again. Joe. All right. Let me just... There we go. All right. Let me catch back up to the comments here. Sorry, they're playing up again. So if I had you up and I've missed you, just comment again and I'll grab you again. It's glitching on my screen and I can't see it. That's better. All right, sweet. Here we go. Look, I'm just checking the numbers. Jeez. There's so many numbers and no one's guessed it yet. Oh, and nobody's guessed the other. You're welcome, Joe. You're welcome. All right. And for those of you just jumping on as well, you can't say crystal. Because, like, what type of crystal? You know what I mean? It's like saying earth, for example. So I'm sure there's a million other examples I can use of that as well. All right, I'm going to do a couple of readings. Jasper's verbal. That's funny. All right, Brooke. I'm going to read for Brooke and then I'm going to catch up to the bottom. All right, Brooke, would love to hear a message, please. Let's have a look and see what the cards would like to say to you today. All right, Brooke. Let's have a look. All right. Nice. All right. So you've got the no card that's there. You've got the letting go card that's there. And you've got the procrastination card that's there. And I also want to say you've got the silence. And a couple of you may have heard me say this, but I just want to say it's weird. Like, I'll be sitting there tuning into somebody. When I say it's weird, it's not weird, but it's funny because everything's quiet around, but then the volume stops as well. And it's just a weird shift in energy. And I feel that sometimes when I'm like at fairs and those kind of bits and pieces, again, it's not negative by any yards of the stick. Perhaps it's just me dropping in just that little bit further. But yeah, I'm just going to share it out because you give me that sensation. So you've got the no card that's there. You've got the letting go card and you've got the procrastination card, okay? When we get the no or the yes card, it's an emphasizer. So you've got the joy card that's there. And it's like there is that blockage around it, okay? It's like, nope, not sitting there with it. You need to let go of the things that's binding you. And I feel like you don't want to. I feel like there's comfort in those things, there's familiarity in those things, and there's excuses around those things. And that sounds really harsh, doesn't it? But, you know, when I'm sitting with you, those things come down to loyalty and compassion and, you know, care for the other person or the other party or that job or that role. And so it's not like, you know, you're just sitting there in this stubborn kind of energy, but where are you? You know what I mean? And so there's this real kind of reluctance to make any changes. And so we avoid action. And with that action, we kind of get left behind further and further and further. And that's how I see it with you. It's like I'm watching you on the dock and I'm watching the ship get further and further and you're getting smaller and smaller and smaller away in my mind. You know, I'm sure there's a painting like that somewhere of like this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But that's where my head ends up with you as this lonely little thing standing on this dock with this big pool around you of water around you. And so I want to leave that there with you and just get you to sort of just check in and make sure that whilst you're serving everybody else, you're certainly serving yourself somewhere in there. Okay, I hope that helps. All right, going to catch up with the comments. 22 rubber bands, Justice Verbal. I'm not going to read them all out because it's going to take too long. I'm like, God, come on, somebody gets a number. Jesus. All right, here we go. Angela Willis, it is number 6. Congratulations. And you know what's really funny? Yeah, and I'm going to say that too. I was just literally thinking to myself about succession of numbers, and I'm noticing that you did 6, 7, 8. And you know what? I'll accept that it was 3 numbers. I've got no issues with you doing that. But it is funny. I see that you've kind of gone 5 up there as well. That I don't. You've made a new rule on there, but I'm still totally giving it to you because I can see you have not seen the page in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I can envision someone just sitting there going from 0 to 100 all the way through, and yeah, no, that can't fly. But Angela, congratulations. What you need to do is message me, please. Send me a message, and I will send you a code that will be for you to grab a free 1-question email reading. Actually, no, it's not. I'm sorry, Angela, and I'm going to stay with my rules as well. You get a spin on the wheel, so you may actually win a better prize. I forgot about that. It's a guessing game. All right, here we go. So here's my wheel. This is the second time I've done that, so I'm allowed to make mistakes and bring rules in along the way. All right, here we go. So this is my spinny wheel. So we can win a 15-minute reading, a 1-question email reading, try again, or better luck next time. And so, Angela, whatever it wins, you get. Whatever it lands on, you win. Let's go. That couldn't have got more awkward, could it? What have you got? A free 1-question email reading. It's meant to be. So, as I said, send me a message and I will give you a code for a free 1-question email reading, which is absolutely free and valid for you to use anytime over the next 3 months. And congratulations. And so let's do the next number as well, but I'm going to catch up to the comments and then I'll go back up. You're very welcome, Angela. So from 9:15, Angela's saying, Yahoo, is now the next number. So let me just double check what that number is again in my head. Wonderful. So guess away, guys. Again, between 0 and 100. And we're still doing the guessing game. Let me just do a really quick scroll up and see if anyone's grabbed it, but I don't believe anyone has. Bethany, I should be able to still see you on Instagram. All the comments from there's YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram on this StreamYard, and I should be able to see all 3 of them at the same time. It's just I don't always catch comments because they do come through fast, and so I am consciously having a look now that you've said that. But yeah, I'm not. It should be here. Yeah, I don't believe anybody has guessed what this is in my hand here. So we're still doing the guessing competition there, guys. And there is also a new number between 0 and 100. Feel free to drop your comments and a new rule. You're not allowed to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you very much, Angela. All right. Now I wanted to grab Debbie. Yeah, I'm just taking the piss. Don't mind me. All right. Are you able to give me some information on my relationship, please? Debbie. Let me grab some water. Of course, it goes down the wrong hole. Of course it does. I'm sorry, Debbie. All right. Debbie. All right, when I sit with your cards, you've got the improvement card of self and situations. You've got the out with the old and in with the new card there, clearing out the stables. You've got the internal conflict card, and you've also got the take 5 card that sits there with that, okay? When I sit with your energy that's there, improvements of self and situations, when we take the time to clear out the stables and have a look what we're shoveling out there, okay? Big pile of pure, out with the old and in with the new, okay? But there's an internal conflict around that because it is hard to make shifts and changes, and it is hard to let go of things that we care about. But I feel like these are things that are coming down to the fact that you need to. So, my cardio health's down. I need to walk more. I'm going to bed too late and it's making me really tired the next day. It's those kind of energies that are there into play. And I just feel like they kind of keep getting shifted forward, all right? there's an energy that's brewing. And I just sort of kind of want to remind you that, once time passes, it's too late. Okay. And so I just sort of leave that thought with you. But that take 5, rest and recuperation are needed. And it is about just kind of coming back and taking stock. All right. Sweeping out and clearing out the stables, having a look around and kind of just reassess and reorganize and going, okay, this is what we're going to do moving forward. And I just feel like that energy kind of needs to be more about you than anything else. All right. So I'll leave that there with you. And I hope that it helps. All right. Just doing a quick check. Just going to catch up to the comments quickly. Yeah, up to. You know what I need, honestly? I need someone. It's sort of getting to that point. I'm noticing that here. All right, let me do these numbers quickly. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Bethany, you're very welcome. Oh, you know what? I'm going to drop a hint on this. Just gets nothing. It's something. I'm going to drop a hint on it. It's oh, that's too obvious. It's a smaller version of something that the human body has. And it's not real, like it's not from the human body. What I hold isn't authentic. It is a replica and it is a smaller version of something from the human body. All right. Let me grab up a little bit. I'll grab a question. Actually, I'm just going to catch up. Feel free to comment again. Judy Homer Martin, love a reading, please. Absolutely. All right. Judy. So, guys, let's have a look and see what Judy's cards have to say. Just have my own curiosity here. Jules, I thought you were going to get outside influences and bits and pieces, but it's your energy that's there. Just be really mindful of what you're settling for around yourself. And I mean that in a whole kind of life scope way. Okay, so I'm not going to pull out the full spread, though I did pull you a full spread, but I'm going to give you the gist of it, all right? So you've got the joy card that's there, you've got the self-care card that's there, and you've got the intentions card. And when I sat with the energy of that, it was, around that sort of intentions of, there's something out of whack here. There's something that it was like betrayal. Someone's feeding you the wrong information. So I was like, I'm kind of curious where that energy sits. And so I wanted to see. And as I'm sitting with your energy that's there, you're being reminded, you've got the love card. You can trust yourself. You've got the new beginnings card that's there. You've got the spirit card that's there. You've got the positive attitude. And so there's so much energy and reminding of bringing you back to yourself. And so then you get the where are you card. And it's really asking you, is what around you is enough? Don't blow it out of proportion. I'm not saying you need to blow your life apart, but it feels like you're always kind of just being handed the second best. And I do feel drawn around your work. It's like, yeah, I promise you're going to move forward. And that just sort of never comes. And so I implore you to sort of draw back to yourself. What you needed to know most for yourself, is that moving on towards better things is what needs to happen. And we need to sort of recognize that shit happens in our life. Don't make mountains out of molehills. And that's not me saying that you're dramatic. It's just about saying put things in perspective and really kind of see just what's coming back to you. Because I'm telling you, you're getting a raw deal somewhere. You've got the worry and the doubt cards, just putting it all into perspective again. Change is scary. Yeah, it is. But there's a sunset energy that's wanting to come in, and that's the end of an era. Don't let the energy keep coming in this way. And if it's people or, personal relationships affecting that work side of things that's there, the same thing, is this energy serving you or is it serving them? And so, yeah, I just really implore you to sort of have a look at that and make some necessary shifts in and around yourself, okay? I hope that helps. All right. David Kyle, need clarification. I can do it and on the right path, please. Look, David, there is still some lessons into play, and I think that you're going to find that you stubbornly need to sort of recognize that, okay? It's like somebody, I get, what I get, because I can see your bike. I get, somebody that's coming up that always works on bikes, and they're saying to you, listen, mate, I've been doing this for years, just try it this way. And you're like, no, mate, this is the way it goes. And you don't listen, and, then 2 seconds later, once they've walked away, you're like, damn it, and you're having to do it their way because they were right. And so just sort of be really open to accepting the learning lessons that are going to come off of these choices, all right? It might slow you down a little bit here and there, but it's not going to stop you. It's not going to stop you. It's about the value. Yeah. So you've got the uncertainty card there, which is like, you're asking a question. Taking a moment, rest and recuperation are there. And you've got the where are you card, okay? And that's where I say, just take what I said in the first instance for that where are you energy that's there. So again, kind of just getting caught into your own thoughts. But just being mindful of your balance and allowing the healing to come in. That healing, because that healing represents the inability to be vulnerable, that insecure and that sort of shame feeling that rises when we're wrong, that we don't like to admit to, that can come off a little bit gruff. As I said, there's lessons here for you. And so take them on the chin, because they're actually going to serve you really, really well, all right? And so sometimes we're slowed down for a reason. Don't be afraid to sort of pay attention to that reason, and being slowed down isn't failure. All right, as I said, just take stock into heed, be mindful where you stand, but I absolutely want to give you the energy to move forward. All right, I hope that helps. All right, it's not a heart, it's not a tooth, it's not a tongue, not an ear, not a foot, not a finger, not a false nail, it's not an evil eye, it's not a toe, it's not a thumb. It's not lips. It's not a brain. Not a statue. It's not eyelashes. It is a small version of a part of a human body. A small version of a part of a human body. You're very welcome. Barbara Jane, can I please have a card? I'll check the numbers in a second as well, guys. Let me focus on you for a moment, Barbara. Sorry, just wanted to give him a little bit of a shuffle. All right, Barbara. You got the letting go card. When I pulled that card out with you, okay, I got, when you take off your glasses, you'll see the truth, okay? And that's with the sheep and the wolf's clothing that's there. And so, taking off the rose-colored glasses, all right? taking a moment to rest and restore. And when I pulled that fifth card around restoration and needing to take 5, these two wanted to slide out with it. So you've got the intention card that's there, and it's where does yours lay, you know? And when we've got rose-colored glasses on, it blinds us, but we have the ability to take them off if we need to, all right? So bringing on the female energy. And this card absolutely represents the fact that the shifts and changes that you want to see within you have to come from within, okay? And so this is where perhaps that rose-colored glasses is coming in, because the energy that I always put into this is, for example, just as an example, you're offered a promotion in 6 months. Your boss comes to you and says, in 6 months' time, I'm going to offer you a promotion. 6 months comes, you don't hear from the promotion, okay? And so it's up to you to go to your boss and go, hey, remember we were talking 6 months ago and you said that you'd give me a promotion. It's not that the promotion isn't there, it's that your boss forgot. And he hasn't forgotten through any kind of malice. He will that's scared the shit out of me there. Every time he will turn around and go, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you know, and he will sit there and go, let me get that sorted out for you. But so you've had to put the energy back into play. You've had to make sure that these things are coming into field that you've been put out for, okay? And so I'm going to leave that energy that's there with you. But again, taking the rose-colored glasses off, seeing things for what they are, and actually calling out for the things that you're supposed to be delivered, all right? But it's going to, don't be afraid to put the, hey, where is it? All right. And it's not like you go up to your boss, hey, you forgot this, you know what I mean? But when it comes back down to it, don't be afraid to go, hey, where is it? You know, I hope that helps. Let's check these numbers. It's not a heart, it's not eyes, it's not boobs. It's not a lung, it's not a penis, it's not a belly button. I'm going to see if somebody else is a little bit closer, but if not, I'm going to give it to you. Just for the sake of moving on, I think. All right. Let me just double check I don't see that comment somewhere. Oh. This one's taken a while to guess, guys. And so if somebody has guessed and I missed it, just let me know, okay? Because I'm going to give it to Monica. Monica Campos. It's close enough to a head. It's a skull. It is a skull made of plastic. It's a skull. Congratulations. You have won a free 1-question email reading. Send me a message and I will send you your code. We're going to go straight on to the next guessing competition. God help us. You know what? I'm going to do all 3 at once. Okay? So there's 3 things that we're going to guess, all right? So I'm going to hold 1 up, 2 up. They all fit into my hand. They are all made of different materials. Feel free to chuck your guesses up, okay? Feel free to chuck your messages up. Going to do a quick check on the numbers. I was reading as I go down. I'm starting again. I don't think anyone's grabbed it though. No. All right, so we're still guessing the number between 0 and 100. And we're guessing the 3 items. We are guessing the 3 items. You're very welcome. Beverly Gabrielle. Hi, Elizabeth. I would appreciate some guidance about my love life, please. I have someone I care deeply about, but not sure if it will come to be. Thank you. Times and places, and you know, I question whether this person's putting enough energy and effort into it as what they could be. And you know, the excuses, and I want to be really gentle with the way that I use that word, because I don't want to be so flippant or disrespectful with it. There's, you know, obviously fear and hesitation that sits with that, but I do feel like we're kind of getting a few excuses made here. Looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. Let me just pull a couple of cards while I stew on this for a second. Fine. You've got the completions card that's there, okay? Now, that doesn't necessarily denote the end of the relationship, all right? But you've got the internal conflict card, being caught in your own thoughts, and you've got the self-denial card there that talks about self-sabotage, stubbornness and refusal. And so, again, sort of just really seeing this for what it is, trusting your intuition, all right? You know yourself well enough to trust your truth, your happiness, and your desires. There's new beginnings. See what I mean? All the energy that's sitting here around with it. This person needs to pull their socks up. If they want to participate in the party, they need to come and play. They need to come and bring some potato chips and some Coca-Cola and, share. All right. And I really encourage you to bring that energy on. If this person doesn't do that and doesn't do it soon, and, again, when I say these things, I think you know me well enough to know I'm not telling you, walk in and go, you know what I mean? But you need to communicate needs. You need to put boundaries in place. When I enter with somebody and this is what I need, this is what my boundaries are, this is what my expectations are. Are you able to meet them? Listen to the words that are being fed to you. Because if they're like, "Oh, I'm not sure right now," or okay, fine. Thank you so much for your honesty. However, we're obviously on different pages. I need to move on. Allow yourself to do that. You know what I mean? Because where energy flows, energy goes. I'm not denoting that's where it is, but I'm warning you very much so that if the energy doesn't shift, that's perhaps where it does need to. Okay, so just be mindful, because again, there's such a sweet energy that's here with this person. I can see why your energy is sitting there, but they have to come to the party. They have to come to the party. They can't play if they're not here. All right, can't push them on the swing set if they're not sitting their ass in the swing. So I'll leave that there with you, and I hope it helps. We're not allowed to say crystal. We've got to be Pacific. And the same with other bits and pieces as well. Lindsay Kate, I'm going to grab onto you. Yes, we have a shell. We have a shell. Please send me a message. You have won a free one question reading. I'm looking for the number. No, that's all right. So all the rules is please don't comment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got the idea. Feel free to comment more than once. We're guessing a number between 0 and 100. Absolutely, Bon. I get that all the time. I'll be sitting there doing a reading and I'll be like, oh, I've got, Rockhampton in my head, and I'll say Queensland, and they'll like go, oh yeah, I want to go to Rockhampton. I'm like, all right. Nobody, I don't think, has guessed the number yet. So the number's still up for grabs, guys, and we still have 2 more items as well that are being guessed. I don't believe anybody has grabbed onto those yet. Nicole Martin. Hi, Elizabeth. Just wondering if my partner and I will be moving house soon. Thanks. Yeah, actually, it's actually got a nice clear energy that's there. I feel between 3 or 4 months. It's a sunny day and it's still warm enough. So regardless of where you are, I'm in New South Wales. It looks like you're sitting in a singlet, so I don't imagine you live where it snows all the time. But I timeline by the weather, okay, because I hate being cold. And so, if I'm moving forward, I'm warm. I do feel like you're sort of sitting in that autumn kind of energy, all right? So I do feel like that's going to come to fruition in and around then. And I want to say, yeah, you're happy as well. I think it's going to come off the back of a disappointment of you think, yep, this is the one. You might get told, yep, that's absolute. And then it kind of gets shifted in and around, okay? And so use the opportunity to make shifts and changes that need to, and keep that in the context of which it is, you know what I mean? You might find that I'm trying to think of a silly example that I've just got the dog sleeping in the house, but my dog lives in the house all the time. Keep it in the context of which it deserves, but it's a fresh new energy that's there. So again, don't be afraid to make the adjustments that come into play. Worry and doubts, just take them all one at a time, okay? This where are you card, I'm just sitting here gently giggling in the back of my head because it's where are you? It's yeah, do it. Where am I going? I'm moving. But as I say, I don't feel like it's the first place, it's a second, okay? Just making a commitment to move forward. And again, with that, I just want to say, be excited, be positive with it, plan well. There's always headaches. I was listening to the radio today, about moving being one of the biggest, most stressful things in the life, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But I think, we don't need to be psychic to know that. So, yeah, buckle up, buddy, because once it's all going and flowing, you'll find it all happens quite quickly. So enjoy. All right. I will say that the last two items are not crystals in any way, shape, or form. Vicky Roswell, congratulations. Number 627. Send me a message. Actually, you get to spin the wheel, then you get to send me a message. Let's have a look and see what you get. All right, Vicky, so this is my wonderful wheel, the spinny wheel. We have a 15-minute free reading on here. We also have free one-question email readings on here too. So I get to spin this for you. Whatever it lands on is what you get. Let's have a go. What you got? Oh, better luck next time. All that effort. Thank you for playing, Vicky. Better luck next time. All right, we're going to get straight on to the next number, which is, always just like to double check. Nice. All right. So from 939, the numbers. Okay, 939, we got a new number. I'm just going to check comments quickly for that. And we've still got two more items here, guys. Two more items. Both of them fit within my hand. None of them are a crystal. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So I'm just going to jump up to a couple of comments here for a question. Where'd you go? Ruth Dean. Would love some guidance, please, and thank you. Ruth. Yeah, you know what? You've got such a nice energy with this reading that's here. Okay, so you've got the healing card that talks about being patient but allowing the healing to come in. You've got the duck card there, which talks about, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And you've also got the blowing in the wind. The answers are blowing in the wind. There's lessons within. And when I sit with this energy, it's almost like a story is unfolding. The healing is there, and it's almost like we're starting to feel it. We're starting to feel more connected to ourselves. But it's this energy of sense of starting to see things for what they really are. And this is back energy that's there. And it's like, when we get older, I used the reference the other day, we might watch a kids movie as a younger person, and as an adult watch it again, and we kind of pick up the adult quirks that we didn't pick up as a kid. We see things from a different perspective. And I feel that you've got an opportunity to look back and see that as well, but within seeing things like a duck, it's almost like seeing people for what they really are. And that's a hard thing to do. But I implore you to do it anyway, okay? And it's like, well, what does that look like? I don't know how it's going to shift things. I don't know how it's going to change things. But there's lessons within that as well, because within that you learn boundaries, you learn, more confidence, more esteem, more all those kind of energies that are there with it. This isn't just a quick, simple little journey with it. It's an invitation to kind of step back and see, those things that are holding you back because you don't want to see the truth in people. And it's not because you're ignorant or anything like that. It's that you don't want to see the truth out of kindness, or trying to protect these people, trying to protect energies. But, sometimes we need to see people for exactly who they are so that those energies can be released. And again, this is back energy. It's about reflection and moving on and healing, okay? So I hope that little bit of insight helps, and thank you very much for joining me. It's not rubber, it's not a leaf, it's not a lighter. It's not Palo Santo. It's not earrings, it's not sage. It's not a candle, it's not a rubber. It's not a round ball, it's not perfume. It's not a peg. Let me grab you, my dear. You're not having. Oh, am I having panic attacks? Is my body under stress? I thought you asked me if you were now. Am I having panic attacks? Is my body under stress? Your body's always under stress, my love, because you're a little bit of an overthinker that's there, okay? So just be mindful in and around with that. But I would look at this as I know you've jumped on here a couple of times to know that when it comes to health and those kind of little bits and pieces, we're sitting in a public forum, and mostly I'm not a doctor, okay? And so just when I sit with your energy, I just want to say to you, I feel like you've already gotten some information in and around things like cholesterol, blood pressure, those kind of little things that are there with it. It might be worth just doing a little bit of a check-in with that. In no way, shape, or form am I feeling any like big concerns, okay? So when I go say to you, oh, you might want to get a checkup around that, it's not a subtle, oh, I can't really say what's happening. It's literally, you might just want to keep an eye on that energy that's there, okay? You need to kind of take a breath. You need to breathe. There's a lot of stress and pressure coming in from you, especially from a male energy that's there, like an adult male energy. And I just feel like it's almost like enough is enough, but there's a little bit of a powerless energy that's there within that. Once you sort of start to create shifts and things like that in and around it, we'll find. I want to say to you as well, there's a younger male energy that's there. I can see even with your profile pictures that those energies are around with you. With the elder one, it's almost like we're waiting for some answers that there. I want to say those answers do come in for you over the next couple of months. It could be as simple as a sport, you know what I mean? Waiting to see if you got onto the team or things like that. It's a positive energy, okay? And so I'll leave that with you. But you've got the crossroad card that says decisions, choices, and directions. And you know, I really kind of want to implore you to not take the one that always leaves you into this position. It's there. Sometimes it's almost like it's easier not to fight. And so I don't, but it leaves me in this state. And so I kind of go, is it easier? You know, and so just be mindful because there is a completions energy that's there with it. But that actually has a really positive energy that's there with it. And I want to say there is a financial component with that as well. There's a lot focused in and around the kids with that, especially over the next 3 or 4 months. And it feels like it's, you know, either paying things off, getting further assistance with paying things. It's that kind of vibe with the financial energy, okay? And so things feel like they're sitting a little bit tight over the next 3 or so months, including with stress. So again, be mindful. But after that sort of energy, I sit with April, May, June, it starts to lift up in and around you and things feel a lot more orderly too, all right? So I'll leave that there with you and I hope that it helps. Sort of cookie, sort of stick, elephant, nail file, nail clippers, tissue, 66, 10, sort of pendant, sort of figurine. Sarah, I've caught this question a couple of times and I've gotten the same thing with it each time that I've sat there with it, okay? There's a lot of mental energy around with this question. And so, especially from a physical viewpoint, and you bring those two things in together, I would definitely, just for self, just putting work to the side and everything else like that in and around, consider some alternative methods. And I'm not saying step away from medical care or anything that's being taken care of right at this moment, okay? I'm not suggesting that. But, you know, say, for example, if we were seeing a physio, by going and you know gently doing laps under recommendation in a nice heated mineral pool, for example, doesn't that sound expensive and lavish? You know, would assist that. And so we're talking about things that complement and assist. And I feel like when I sit with your husband's energy, you know, I kind of want to scratch my balls and fart, and it just sort of talks about, you know, there's just a masculine energy that's there with it. And so, you know, maybe not so into the alternative therapies and bits and pieces, but I want to say there is relief to be found within that, okay? I'm very, very drawn around the body psychotherapy side of things is what's mulling through my head. Will they work again? It depends what that looks like, you know, and it's not going to look the same. It's not going to look the same, but I tell you what, if I've ever picked up a determined energy, your husband certainly feels like one of them, and very intelligent. It's funny. It feels like I'm dealing with big hands that can do really specific and minute and technical things, you know. And so, you know, overall, absolutely yes. But there's a process that's here in play, and I just feel like there's going to be a pathway that changes. You know, we've got. It's almost like there's 50 pathways in front of you guys at the moment. That's there. And over time, they're just going to narrow down. And some of those pathways is about getting rid of processes and getting rid of paperwork and getting rid of this and getting rid of that. It's not all just, things that didn't work. It's narrowing it down. And at the end, we've got like those 5 pathways that we get to choose from as options ahead of us. All right. So a little bit of time and patience. But when I pull with your cards, you got the improvements of self and situations. That question around where are you, and I think that you guys know exactly where you are right now, but just moving on to the future, don't get too locked and loaded onto what that has to look like and how that process has to unfold, and don't be afraid to bring in reinforcements around you when that time comes, even if that reinforcement is in the shape of advice. Okay, so changes of like energy shifting for the better, but keep that energy within your control. All right, so I hope that helps, and thank you very much for joining me. All right, so guys, there's 20 of you on here at the moment. We've been here for just over an hour. We're playing some guessing games. And so all I ask is that if you do ask for a reading, please follow me on my page. Other than that, we're guessing numbers between 0 and 100 at the moment. And there's also 2 items that we are guessing. So I have 1 item in each hand right now. And the first person to guess those will win a free 1-question reading. The first person to get the number gets to spin the wheel. You're very welcome. Joey tried out for soccer. Yeah, nice. He'll be cool. He might not get like exactly where he wants to be within that, but it'll happen as well. So yeah, no, that's a really nice energy. You're very, very welcome. Oh, you love my garden stories. Thank you. My garden's such a nice part of me. And speaking of, Nicole Martin. Yes, I have a flower. It is purple poppy. And a purple poppy represents all the animals. So we have the red poppy for the soldiers, and we have the purple poppy for their animals. So yes, it is a flower, the purple poppy flower. Purple poppy flower. Nicole Martin, send me a message, please, and I will send you a code for a free 1-question reading. Email reading. 1 more item left to be guessed. And we're still trying to guess the number. Cheese. It's not cheese. I don't think I can have food sitting in front of me. I'll eat it. Just making sure no one's guessed the other one. Nice. All right, guys. So please feel free to ask a question. Oh, that spider's awesome. You know what? I went and checked him out tonight. He's still there. He's still there. And if you just want to know what I'm talking about, have a look at my Facebook page and check out the spider that found a old snail shell, has dragged it up a tree from God knows where and made himself a condo. Like, how is it it's absolutely incredible. But anyway, go check out the video. It's on my Facebook page. It's really cool. So guys, just as well, I'll do another reading in a second. So there are still some spots left for the reading day on the 22nd of February. If you would like to book one of those, essentially it's 25% off and you get to do a video instead of a phone on a 30-minute read. That is on Sunday, the 22nd of February. Send me a message. For those of you in Bathurst or who would like a little bit longer of an online read, on the 27th and the 28th of February, I have the in-person Bathurst private reading day. That's at my usual spot in Bathurst. And so I think I've got 1 more spot left for the Friday night, a couple left for the Saturday. So you can come in person and have a 45-minute reading with me at Bathurst. Or if you would like, you can still book online and have that 45-minute reading at a time that I don't normally work, which is a Friday evening and through the day on Saturday, because I'm usually at fairs and events. And so take advantage. And the next day after that, I am at an event at Guyamea. All right. Let's catch up with the comments and do a couple of readings. I will say the last item is not a crystal. I think I caught your name anyway, so I was going to read for you earlier. Sorry. This is my second time when it happened to find you, and I'm pretty sure it's the second time tonight I said that I'd read for you. Therefore, I decided to ask. Yes, I'm going to start following you regularly. Ooh, thank you. Is it possible for you to see if I am going, please? Let's have a look. Might not be going in the way that you look like, but I just, you know what I keep getting? Might not be in the way that I want it, but fuck it, I'm going anyway. That's what I get off the back of that. Let me pull you a couple of cards in and around that as well. Yep. Yeah, nice. Okay. So when I sit with your cards, you've got the worry and doubt card that's there. Just taking, be solution focused. Okay, be solution focused. And I feel like you're gonna need to be solution focused in a way that I can say it that easy, all right? So staying connected to yourself, all right? Eyes on the prize, eyes on the prize. I'd be silly, but that's kind of the energy that I want to put into it. All right. And so when I pulled your third card, I went, okay, I want an answer here. I want an answer. What's the answer here? And you got the beginnings and endings. They're in natural order. Okay. So not to be afraid to let go. You've got a 3 and a 4 together. That's there. So you've got the new beginnings card that sits with that energy as well. So are you going, look, the energy in the cards want to say yes. But as I said, I feel like it has to be a solution focused process to get to that point that has an element of compromise in there as well. Okay. And so I'll leave that there with you. And thank you very much for joining me. All right. That dragon fruit flower was awesome. I saw a thing last night that they were pulling them off so they didn't just go rotten. Then I tried to pull it off today. Sorry, I'm a child. I got to laugh at that. Yeah, but I tried to just sort of pull it down. They didn't want to budge, so I don't know if I got to wait a couple more days for it or maybe cut it off because it left the big long yellow thing in the middle. Just nobody's guessed the number yet. I don't believe anyone's guessed the number. Nobody's guessed the item either. Bon Richardson. That's me. If you can pull a card for me, that would be much appreciated. Thank you. Let's have a look here. Bon. Nice. Letting go, releasing binds. This card's popped out so many times, and I swear to God, it's carried a different energy for each person each time. When I pull this card for you and I sit with that energy, is it just about, I feel like you're kind of going, yeah, I'm already doing that. And I feel like you have been doing that for even like the last 2 years, and I just feel like it comes through like mindful intention. You got that intention card, but I want to put a little bit of different energy that's there. But I feel like this has come through mindful intention. I get that image again where, if you sweep the floor and you sweep it up into the dustpan, you get that little line that's left and you've got to pull the dustpan back a bit and just, sweep that maybe one more time. I feel like you're on those last little bits of energy. And so for whatever that's worth, I want to encourage you to keep going, especially with that self-discipline that's come out of it. Okay. You've got improvement of self in situations. And as I said, you've got the intention card that's there. So being mindful of where yours is sitting, because I do feel like, as I said, you've come quite far. It's almost like, and I don't want to be too like arduous. I'm not sure why I get that word with it. I've look up the meaning anyway, shut up this. But what I get with it, there's almost like 3/4 of the mountain up, all the way up the mountain, it's like, don't give up now. Okay. You've got a quarter of the way to go and the view's spectacular at the top. And again, I don't feel like you're about to give up, but it's just that's I want to say to you, don't. All right. And so take that energy for where it needs to sit. And I hope that helps. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. All right. Let's have a quick check on these numbers. We've got one more item sitting here as well, guys. Oh my God. Nobody's grabbed it yet. Guessing a number between 0 and 100 and the last number as well. Here for another 6 more minutes. So let's see if we can get this done, hey? All right, Amanda, let me pull a couple of cards for you. Amanda. All right, when I sit with your cards, you've got the growth card, opportunity, potential, and self-awareness. You've got the heartache card, which talks about challenging matters of the heart, but it is time. You know it and you feel it. And you know what? When I sit with that, we think about growth, opportunity, awareness, potential, and all of those kind of bits and pieces. To step into our true energy, we also have to, make sacrifices and let things go. And I feel like that's what that heartache energy is for you. And that reminder of, well, come on, I often liken it to not putting you down into that age bracket, but as far as it sits, like I've explained to my son before as well, you put in, he's in the army, we talk about the 4 year stint, you put in that 4 years worth of time that's there and allow yourself to progress. You may, miss out on some partying weekends and, those kind of bits and pieces. But at the end of it, you're also this much further ahead, and so I feel like I just sort of want to hand that energy and remind that energy that to you. A little bit of time and effort back here is going to make big results back there, okay? So make sure you're making choices and decisions that are for the long term, not necessarily for today, all right? I hope that helps. All right. Come on, guys. What have I got in my hand? What have I got in my hand? What number am I guessing? It's not lip balm. It's not chocolate. It's not a wrapper. It's not a feather. It's not a frog. It's not a stone. And so, guys, just for those of you that are here still, I would like to say it's not a dice. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. I'm going to do 2 more readings. If we haven't guessed the item or the number by then I'm sure. Look, I am happy to sit here for 5 minutes while he's guessed if some of you want to do that. As far as it sits, it's not a stick. All right, I'm going to do 2 more readings, check where it's at, and we'll see if anybody's guessed them. All right, so please feel free to comment if you would like a reading, please. I'm going to grab them from the bottom. Next 2 people to comment, we'll get the readings that I see. All right, so if you'd like a reading, please feel free to drop a comment. Please ensure that you follow my page if you are asking for readings. Please remember to chuck me a thumbs up or a heart on the feed. I always appreciate that. And you can do that heaps of times so you can go, feel free to do that. Don't comment, but feel free to heart me, okay? You got to put your in the right place. All right. Karen. Let me grab you. Karen. Okay. When I sit with your cards, you've got the healing card, you've got the uncertainty card, and you've also got the male card that's there, okay? Male card can represent partners, and you do have a love card that follows after it, but I feel like this energy pertains more to you than what it does to a relationship, okay? And I'm kind of looking at the healing card because when it sits with your energy, it's not just like this straightforward, of being patient, but allowing the healing to come in. There's an uncertainty that's there, and it's being called onto your strength. And so I want to say to you that people are starting to unveil some true colors around with you. And again, I don't necessarily want to pertain this to a partner, okay? But it's like as that unfolds, the truth hurts, essentially. And so I just wanted to follow where that story went a little bit, because this love card talks about the fact that you know yourself well enough to trust that your truth, your desires, your happinesses are genuine and authentic, okay? And then you've got that end of an era. So it's like something's trying to close out and it's external conflict that's there. And it's just really asking where your place is within all of that, okay? And so I just, again, want to keep it in the box that it needs to stay, but I implore you just to really sort of pay attention to what's serving you, especially in the relationships and connections that you have. Thinking about friends and all of those kind of things, sometimes you might stay friends with someone for 40 years because you've been friends with them for 40 years, but is the hand that we're holding a hand that holds us down, and so I just, again, don't want to put it directly to, that friendship that has been there for 40 years. You will know where this energy belongs, and I just feel like for whatever reason, you're going to get a lot of opportunity to see that this year. And so don't be afraid to let go of what no longer serves. If you get fearful that you're going to end up in a position without friends, I want to say to you, sort of reflect back on what that space is creating, because that's not going to happen. But with space comes opportunity. And so I'm going to leave that thoughts there with you, and I hope that helps. All right. Yeah, nice. Awesome. And I'm going to grab Kerry because she was the... Oh, Penny, you were too. All right, so I'll grab Penny and then I'll grab Kerry as well, because Penny, I saw your comment before as well. So let me grab you now. Any guidance for me, please, and thank you. And so, guys, you can still have a go at the number and what's in my hand as well. Once I've done these two readings, if you just want to sit for a couple of seconds and have a go, I guess, then you're welcome to. All right, Penny, let me focus my energy on you. Penny, 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 Penny. Penny, I want to say you got a good financial opportunity coming around with you, and it feels like it comes off the back of hard work, but I just want to say you're going to meet reward this year. If you're thinking about buying property, I definitely want to encourage you towards that as well. Be patient within that. One of your cards reflects that as well, but I'll explain why. So you've got the freedom card that's there, you've got the patience card, and you've also got the cycles card. Beginnings and endings are a natural order, okay? And I just feel like there's almost a sense of frustration, it's like, oh, I'm busting to get there, and so the bus comes first, and even though the bus takes half an hour longer, I'm going to jump on it first because I don't want to wait, if the train will get there first. You get what I'm saying? Don't cut your nose to spite your face by rushing into things. If you get a sense of having to be patient, make sure you follow that trust and energy. But again, you've got real kind of just things clicking into place and moving forward and being recognized for hard work and those kind of energies that come with you. I definitely feel like I'm just going forward just a little bit of time, like, sort of, we'll say 5 or 6 months. I feel like I'm in a safe playing field with that vibe. And so I'll give that to you. The cycles, beginnings and endings being a natural order. I just feel like that's a gentle reminder there that, that everything is going to pay off. Just keep doing what you're doing. And, that end goal that sometimes feels like the benchmark's being moved, it probably has to a degree, but I promise you it's still there, okay? So I hope that helps. All right, Kerry, I've got you there. I'm just checking on these. So Kerry is my last reading for this evening. Though we are still guessing a number and a object. And so I am happy for you guys to sit down and just chuck on some comments as far as having a guess goes before I leave for the evening. And I'm happy to hang around for a couple of minutes while you guys do that. But for now, I'm going to focus on Kerry and do a reading for her. All right, Kerry. When I say pay attention to your health and pay attention to your gut instinct around that, okay? Again, always never disregard medical advice or anything else like that. And I certainly don't want to suggest that you do that. Just what I want to say to you is it's like, say, for example, someone says to you, if you drink water before food, you're going to feel better, but you're finding if you drink it 10 minutes before food, you feel better. Each body is just that little bit different and that little bit unique. And so don't be afraid to, push the boundaries in the way of which I describe, okay? Just be mindful with that, because your digestive system, I feel like you're kind of like just missing the mark on what's happening there. Let me pull you a couple of cards. Yeah, nice. Okay, I want to say to you, okay, your goals are not impossible. Catch the rainbow. You need to step away from energies that are no longer serving, and those energies can be with yourself, all right? It's not always about bringing somebody along and helping them, or, making sure that what we do involves others, so that they can benefit and things like that as well. Sometimes we're allowed just to step back in our own light and our own glory, and I implore you to do that. And, it'll be a valuable lesson to learn the difference between selfish and selfless, self-care, all of those other different words that get so messed up with that selfish word. You got the completions card that's there. And so again, just, take opportunity to really stand strong into your own strength. You've got that spirit card. And with that, I want to say your connection to spirit in itself is evolving and just feels absolutely beautiful. Don't be afraid to shine in your light a little bit stronger this year. Hey, I want to kind of say to you that they're missing you up there, and even as a beautiful spokesperson. And so, yeah, come back and join. All right. I hope that helps, Kerry, and thank you for joining me this evening. All right, guys, so that was my last reading for this evening, but I'm going to just do a quick check-up on these comments and see if anybody has guessed. So we're guessing one number and one item. It's not a bonbon. It's not 33. It's not 93. As I sit here and scroll through and just read the comments and seeing, Amanda, not feeling tapped in, but loving the games. You have been one number off of what it is. And I'm pretty sure it was in the last round of numbers too. So you are tapping in. You are tapping in. Yeah, see, yeah. If you find that's awesome, Kerry. I mean, that information comes in. If you find it a little bit frustrating, don't be afraid to jump back down to that gut instinct. I feel like when those two things will come together, as I said, a bit of a stronger solution comes, okay? It's not 44, it's not 93. All right. So I'm going to do a little bit of a quick reminder and see if anyone grabs these two guesses. We're getting warmer. We're getting warmer. We're getting warmer. We're getting warmer. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I think I need to, I do need somebody that's sitting on the admin side of these live feeds as well. And if I am going to continue to play these games, I think that I need somebody doing that too that can just grab, yep, this person's grabbed that number. That way I'm able to focus on the questions. Yeah, yous are getting warmer. Yous are getting warmer. No, you're very welcome, Kerry. You're very welcome, Kerry. And again, I'm happy to sit here for a couple more minutes and see who's grabbing onto the numbers and the objects. We are getting closer and closer. But yeah, please feel free to join me for the online reading day on the 22nd of February. The $5 little raffle that's there. So again, no more than 20. I've got these still in the tub because I've got to empty them out from today's draw and pop some new names into them, which I will do this evening. But you can just do that through Payer ID or the link that's on the Facebook page, which takes you straight to a secure payment system as well. $5. Please include the contact details, your name and your phone number, whether you pay by Payer ID or whether you're paying through the secure payment system as well. Okay. That way I can contact you and say, hey, you won. Oh, my God. We're close, guys. We're close. All right, stay over 55. I'll tell you that much. Stay over 55, which is pretty much, I just don't want to make anyone go under, and guessing the item in my hand. It's not a chicken. Nicole. Congratulations. Send me a message. Send me a message. All right. Can anyone grab what this is in my hand? You guess the number. You got to spin the wheel, Nicole. Give me a second. You got to spin the wheel. Can anyone guess what's in my hand? All right. So Nicole, guess the number. She gets to spin on the wheel. Sorry, it gets confusing. Let me go. So we have on the board a free one question email readings. We also have a free 15-minute telephone reading on there. We've got guess again and try again. So, all right, let's have a look and see. So the number has been guessed, guys. The number has been guessed. What have you got here? You've got a free 1-question email reading. Congratulations, Nicole. Send me a message. Is this your second prize? Did you win already? Congratulations if you did. Congratulations if you did. All right, so we're just guessing the item. Let me break it down for you. It is an item that is useful in the house. Is that a little bit vague? Every house needs one. Well, by tradition, every house needs one. Every house needs one. Does anybody want to have any more guesses about what I'm holding in my hands? Let's have a look and see. If I don't get another guess in the next few seconds, I'm going to call it. No, it's not a light globe. Fits in my hand. I can squeeze my hand really tight and it will not damage this item. Mushy, mushy, mushy. It will not damage this item. It is a hard item. Congratulations, Linda. Yes, it is key. She just beat you, Debbie. She just beat you. Is they give it away? Yeah, Pen is almost there. Elida and Vicky with the key. Awesome. So, Linda, send me a message, please. And you have won a free 1-question email reading. I will send you a code with that. So, guys, thank you so much again for playing with me this evening. I know that the games slow it down a little bit, but I will say please notice that I'm also here for an extra 40 minutes so far as well, which absolutely don't mind. Just I'm trying to find my balance. So I do appreciate your patience with that. Please always, send me some hearts and thumbs up on your way out. I do always appreciate, and definitely go and check and see how many I get and get a smile on my face. And so if you don't follow my page, please do so as well. And other than that, guys, I hope you have a beautiful night. Thank you very much for your company this evening. Today is Tuesday. I will be live again this week. And so I think you'll find the next one is through the day. But as I say, if you can't be good at it. Have a good night, guys.